So we're on a little bit of a lonely island here, a couple Stein supporters. There were more earlier. What brings you out on this cloudy day to stand outside and have to listen to Hillary Clinton? Obviously, you're dedicated, but I'm going to be honest. Jill Stein's at 1 or 2%. Other than kind of hardcore support optically at the debate, a lot of people got arrested for protesting. Are you just out here because morally you need to fight what's going on in there?
Morally and ethically, and I believe that my voice matters and my vote matters, and telling me that my vote is wasted or that my vote isn't as valid as anybody's is, as Ralph Nader says, it's politically bigoted. And I myself am the volunteer state coordinator for New Hampshire for the Stein-Baraka campaign. We had Jill Stein here on campus on September 13th. A couple hundred students got to hear her talking about canceling out student debt through quantitative easing, through cutting military spending and that type of thing. And lo and behold, Hillary's here less than 2 weeks later on the tail of Jill Stein having this, talking about college and tuition-free education and that type of stuff. And I just felt like we had to come out here and say, if this is what you care about, Jill Stein's platform is kind of voting with your best interests.
And if we're keeping it real, inside the event, I'd say 20% maybe were students and young people. There also were a lot of young people online that didn't get in, but overall it was kind of an older crowd. Now, obviously Donald Trump, the first debate, this stuff comes out about Miss Piggy and all these things, and a lot of people in America respond very viscerally, like, oh my God, this guy's just awful. Jill Stein supporters say, yeah, he is deplorable, but there's really no difference. What are you seeing that folks over there that are around the same age are not seeing, because they think Hillary is 20 times better than Donald Trump?
I really don't think that Donald Trump is a real viable candidate. I view him as a sheepdog for the Democratic establishment. He says deplorable things and he's bad. Hillary's track record is probably worse than what Trump is talking about. And, as far as this two-party system, if you look at the endorsements of Hillary Clinton through the neoconservatives that back George Bush, if you look at the corporate endorsements, it's a one-party system. The two corporate parties are pushing the same agenda.
She's courted a lot of Jeb Bush donors. She's courted a lot of neocons to support her. Yeah. In this rally, she was just talking about former Republican Senator John Warner, who apparently never endorsed the Democrats. So she's definitely not hiding from Republican support.
Of course. George Bush Sr. said in private he's going to vote for her. And these are all red flags to me. I myself sit very left of the Democrats. I'm a Green in New Hampshire. And, it's really sad to see Bernie come out and shill for everything he spoke out against for so long.
And, I think, because we live in this cable news hysteria culture, that there's really not a lot of nuance. For example, she's touting right now this college debt plan, which would basically not really erase it completely, but make it easier to pay back on all these things. You know who doesn't like that plan? Banks.
Of course.
And they donate a lot to her. So do you think people are kind of missing these connections? Because I think Bernie might, in the back of his mind, know these things, but a lot of people in there, I don't think, know. Some of her biggest supporters that she's going to want for re-election to keep cashing the checks might not be down with this plan.
Yeah. As far as a plan goes and a Democratic platform, I'll believe it when Obama closes Guantanamo Bay, when Obama pulls out of Afghanistan, and when Obama brings justice to Wall Street. I loved Obama the candidate. I voted for him twice, second time a little bit with clenched teeth, whatever. And I've seen what neoliberalism looks like in America. They give us a little bit of social rights and they give us this facade of equality, but at the same time they're war profiteers, they're pushing fracking on America and the world, they're slowly destroying the environment, and they're basically establishing a set plutocracy in that, it's a corporatist agenda. And so Hillary can say whatever she wants. I feel like she's going to win either way because we know what election fraud looks like.
And do you think, obviously I'm no psychologist, but there's a psychology that Democratic operatives, political operatives, pundits push, eat your broccoli, but, just suck it up and do it. You hear a lot about the lesser of two evils. What stands out to me is when I was in South Carolina, for one of the debates early on in the campaign, this guy, he was a student, I think, and he waved his hands and he was like, when do we as a people decide to make a change? and it just stuck with me. It was one of those quotes. I feel like, do you feel like at a certain point this part of this is about breaking that psychology of, vote for the lesser of two evils?
Of course, it's almost this weird dichotomy or this Orwellian doublethink and doublespeak. You have Bernie up there talking about breaking away from corrupt money in politics and not endorsing these corporations, these big banks, and then endorsing Hillary, who is the darling of Wall Street. It's this very deep ingrained thing, and I think we owe it to the neoliberal media. My pin right here. I don't believe the neoliberal media. It's state-run media, and it's a propaganda machine. It's television programming. They're programming the masses to, buy what they're sold. And politically, it's dangerous. And the whole idea of Bernie Sanders' political revolution, there's never been a revolution conducted within an electoral process, especially within a counter-revolutionary party like the Democrats. Revolution happens in the mind, and it happens in the streets. So the people, once they see maybe 4 years of neoliberal Hillary Clinton, maybe they'll realize, wow, the lesser of evil is not really working out for us, especially minorities. How did 8 years of Obama affect communities of color?
And also, this police brutality we have, part of it is there was a bill signed in the 90s, the crime bill, that put a hell of a lot more police on the streets and also kind of created this mentality of law and order, as Donald Trump says. Hillary Clinton, she was not the president, but she definitely supported it. I should add, factual, CNN's parent company is Time Warner. They're the number 7th donor to Hillary Clinton in her whole career.
Clinton News Network. It's the Clinton News Network.
And lastly, obviously, I think if you were being honest, Jill Stein's not going to become president. But what do you want people to know who are kind of on the fence, don't really like Hillary, but feel Donald Trump's a threat? What do you want them to know about Jill Stein?
Don't worry, a vote for anybody is a vote for Hillary Clinton. It's called election fraud. We saw it with the demise of Bernie. And the whole Jill Stein phenomenon, if you will, the surge in popularity for the Green Party, is going to be present November 9th. After the election, we're looking at running Greens up and down the ballot from dog catcher to governor, U.S. Senate. The Greens are rising, and if you don't find a home in the Democratic Party, look to your Greens.
Well, I got to be honest, though, if I'm keeping it real. You say the Greens are rising, but she's fairly low in the polls. I will say part of me doesn't believe all the polls because some of these polls only call landlines, and obviously most of her support is a lot of young people, too.
Yeah.
But she's low in the polls, so what do you mean by they're rising?
Well, there's a surge in popularity. Are these your polls or are they CNN's polls? Are they Time Warner's polls? If you look,
it's polls across the country.
Of course. Yeah, these polls generally don't target 18 to 34-year-olds, and the television thing, the mainstream media is propaganda, and they're trying to discredit a real progressive. And of course it's much larger than a presidency, similar to Bernie Sanders. It's much more important. It's a revolution that's being conducted, regardless of who's in office. But at the end of the day, Hillary Clinton won this thing in probably 2009.
Thanks, man.